Okay, guys, we're back at it. So there's this anonymous guy that releases these videos, guys. Again, a lot of it's targeting the current Trump administration, and people have mixed opinions about it. They're like, okay, it's some random guy on the internet. He possibly just has some time on his hands. He's just releasing these videos that are like mysterious, and it kind of reminds you of the movie Saw, and people are resharing it, and it's saying a bunch of good shit for, I guess, for people that are anti-Trumpers, and they like what he has to say, and no one even really thought anything of it until Trump got asked about the individual, about this question here, because the videos are going so viral. Let's take a look at his answer real quick.
I don't want to say, but you'd be surprised.
Okay, so now we're getting reports that anonymous hackers have actually breached Global X, the airline helping Trump with deportations. They're claiming to have stolen passenger lists that reveal who was deported, when, and where. Let's get into this video real quick just to give you an idea of what the last message he sent Trump here about a month ago. Let's get into this video real quick here.
Greetings, citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy. The plan? To systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you. The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement, they are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream. Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter. Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning. But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can, and will, be breached. Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike. But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future. To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Okay, guys. So a lot of this stuff has come true, guys. This was released back in February by Anonymous Q, and a lot of the stuff that he was, this individual was talking about, with the tariff wars and, the we're starting to see a little bit more is racial inequality, not inequality, but racial, I guess, tension has been brewing lately, with the all the kind of situations that we're seeing online, and we're all reaching it almost seems like everybody's reaching this boiling point and everything's gonna just go to hell, right? So let's get into this. So this is a message that Anonymous released now. So it looks like he's actually they've actually enacted something. Okay, so apparently they're calling this Operation DreadNought. Anonymous is calling it Operation DreadNought, guys. So Anonymous has decided to enforce the judge's orders since you and your sycophant staff ignore lawful orders that go against your fascist plans. You lose again, Donnie. A federal judge ruled on May 1st, 2025 that the Trump administration invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, AEA, of 1798 to remove alleged members of a Venezuelan gang from the country is unlawful. The president cannot summarily declare that a foreign nation or government has threatened or perpetrated an invasion or predatory incursion of the United States, followed by the identification of the alien enemy subject to detention or removal. The proclamation makes no reference to and in no manner suggests that a threat exists of an organized armed group of individuals entering the United States at the direction of Venezuela to conquer the country or assume control over a portion of the nation. Thus, the proclamation's language cannot be read as describing conduct that falls within the meaning of the invasion for purposes of the AEA, allowing the president to unilaterally define the conditions when he may invoke the AEA, and then summarily just declare that those conditions exist, would remove all limitations to the executive branch authority under the AEA, and would strip the courts of their traditional role of interpreting congressional statutes to determine whether a government official has exceeded the state's statute's scope. The law does not support such a position. Trump appointed federal U.S. District Judge Fernandez Rodriguez. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. So, anonymous hackers are claiming this breach on Global X, the airline helping Trump with these deportations, guys. According to these reports, actually, so the hackers obtained information on flights 6143, 6145, 6122 from March 15th, which sent immigrants to El Salvador against the court's order, and they're calling this Operation DreadNought. So this is interesting, guys. Yeah, guys, so this is a developing, interesting stuff here. Again, Trump saying, we do know who these people are, and he said you'd be surprised. So he has an idea of who this individual is and who's behind this shit, right? To cause upheaval, anarchy, and just to cause crisis, But, yeah, this is some crazy shit.